So, few things to know for this class so far. One, I think it seems to be going pretty well. As far as our grade distribution at this point, we have 1A, we have 6 Bs. 2 of those Bs are very close to an A, so if that happens to be you, push a little harder to see if we can get there. We have 4 Cs. Of those 4 Cs, 3 of them are close to the B, so if you push a little harder, you should be able to get there. We do have 6 Ds. Of those Ds, 3 of them are very close to a C, so push a little bit harder, see if you can get there. And unfortunately, we do have 2 Fs. So does that mean that are these grades solidified in stone? Is this what you're going to get for the rest of your life? No. But if you're falling in any of those 3 ranges, and you're like, dude, I am totally content with my grade, keep doing what you're doing. If you want to see if you can improve it, maybe change up what you're doing a little bit so you can just get a little bit of the head. But I mean, as far as this goes, our average grade in the class is just over 72%, which is fantastic. For an average, absolutely. Trust me, 25 years of teaching.
You don't know how this class is really fuzzy. I don't know if it's weird. Maybe for you, there's no way.
Just saying.
I don't want like NASA ground, but like legit.
All right. So let's take a look at the quiz, the blue quiz, if you don't mind. And we want to take a look at problems 1 through 9 on that blue quiz. 1 through 9. Those were just the matching. Is there any questions you want me to go over on 1 through 9 on the blue quiz? They were just matching. For the most part, most people did very well on that portion. Every now and then, somebody might have flip-flopped. I think I and H were flip-flopped. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there's like a horrible understanding of it. So every just now and then, we're working a little quicker. Does anyone want to see number 10 or 11 worked out? Take a look. If you missed it, it's fine. If you didn't miss it and you still want to see it worked out, then you want to see 11? Amen. Down in the little box. So 10 and 11 were both worth 5 points. So if you had like -2, -3, or whatever. So number 11 looks like this. So I have 2, quantity, 3. I'm going to just change the A to an X just because my A's start to look a little dorky. That's the problem, right? I did change the X. What do you got?
Oh, no.
Oh. Recycle it. All right. What should I do? Yeah. Distribute. Is that what I heard? 6x minus 10 is less than or equal to 2. Is that okay? And you can mark up, these quizzes are yours. You can mark off all over them if you'd like. So I'm going to add 10 to both sides. So I get 6x is less than or equal to 12. Divide each side by 6. So I wind up with x is less than or equal to 2. Okay, so that's the inequality. On the number line, you should go to 2. You have a solid dot that you would have made and shade it this way. And then you realize that this is actually going to negative infinity. So you're going to go from negative infinity to 2 square bracket. So we're looking for this for your answer and looking for this for your answer. And that's number 11. Did you plug that in?
Well,
What?
I put it in the slot where it doesn't have a number. Because they're all in different slots.
It happens. I don't care. Find one with an open plugger. All right, so are we good on the first page? Any questions on the first page that we should go over a little bit more?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
First page?
Yeah.
We're good?
Sorry. I didn't get, like, you don't have to go over all of these, but I didn't get 5 through 9. What were we supposed to write in the blank space?
Okay, so 5 looks like this. 6 was this. 7 was this.
I got marked off because I got the wrong answer too. I got every single one wrong.
All right, so for each of those, we wanted you to be able to match up what it wants. So this first one would have been x is less than 2, which looks like g. Okay, so speaking on interval notation, I'm coming from negative infinity going to 2, so I'm looking for everything less. The second problem is x is greater than or equal to 3, which that should have been letter D for an answer. Again, interval notation, we start at the 3, include it, continue that way forever. Number 7, we are flipping this over. So we're coming from negative infinity, getting up to 3, so everything less than 3, including it. So that would give me letter F, right? And then this one is going to look very similar. It looks like this, which was letter I. Okay? What's the difference between these two? Square bracket versus not square bracket. And then number, well, that should be 2 going to infinity. I'm sorry, I made it 8. And then this one should be x is greater than 3, which is h. That make sense? Sweet. Second page. Second page, 12 through 17. Anything on 12 through 17? Yeah. 15. Okay. Number 15. Okay. So that's one of the ones we want to clear the fraction. Okay. So 2, 6, and 12. If I multiply everything by 12 over 1, you're going to see a very similar problem to this on the test. Yeah, are you okay with why I got 12 over 1? It's 12, 6, and 2 all going to 12. Okay. All right, so that's going to reduce there, so that's just going to give me 16. That's going to give me a 2n plus. That's going to give me a 6n. Now I'm going to combine like terms. That gives me 8n is greater than 16 divided by 8. And then I forget what we asked for, number 15. So we wanted to graph it. So I had 0 here, 2 here. What did I do? What did I do?
Nothing.
Oh.
It's the crowd.
Oh, okay.
Distracted and it's disgusting.
What are they distracted by?
I know. I don't need this in my head.
I'm so confused. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened.
You don't want to know what happened.
I do.
I probably did something similar when I was in high school to be distracted too, so don't worry. I wasn't.
Let's continue.
I don't know. Not you, I know that. Can I move on, or we need to stop?
No,
Catch
we
a
can
breath?
move on. We can move on.
All right, cool. Any other questions from the second page up to number 17? Yeah. 13. 13. That one, right? Okay. I'm going to distribute. You probably did that just fine, right? And then, depending upon which way you did it, I probably would have said, let's subtract 2x from both sides. So I get negative 6 is greater than negative 9. Oops, negative 9, that's a 9. Okay? Is negative 6 a larger value than negative 9?
No.
Further to the right on the number line. If we have negative 9 here, I have negative 6 here, and I have 0 here. Is negative 6 a larger value than negative 9? We all agreed that all the x's fell out because of that, right? So is negative 6 greater than negative 9? True or false?
True.
Totally true. So that means we have infinite solutions. What would it have been if that would have been a false statement?
If negative 9 was more.
So if I had -6 is less than -9, right? Or -9 is greater than -6, then what would my answer be? It's false, which is how many solutions?
No solution.
No solutions. Okay? If that was equal and that came down there, it means there's no solution to the problem. But because we're dealing with inequality. What other questions might we have come across on that second page? Second page, okay? The third page I'll talk about briefly. The nice thing is on the test and on the take-home test, we're not going to have the discrete or continuous word problems. I know that probably is going to make most of you cry yourselves to sleep tonight, but is there any 18 through 21 you'd like to take a look at and why? I think the only main problem on that was some of you didn't know what's the difference between discrete and continuous. Discrete starts and stops. Like it doesn't keep going. Continuous will either go to infinity or negative infinity at some point. That's the big difference. So the temperature today in Denver will be warmer than 55. So 55, comma, what value really goes here? What's the warmest we could get in Denver? I don't know. I mean, I think, isn't 105 the hottest Denver area has ever gotten to?
Probably.
Somewhere in there? 103 today?
No, it's
It
not.
was 103 something.
Somewhere. Probably in Arizona, huh?
What was the hottest
Somewhere
area?
over there.
In 1992, I was a service writer for a car wash and moving oil and detail shop, so I had to wear a shirt and tie and slacks. So I made kind of good money doing it. And it was 122 degrees 2 days in a row. It was so warm they had to shut the airport down because they didn't know if the airplanes were only rated at 120. So the airport was shut down from about 9 in the morning till about 9 at night, both days. 122 was blistering hot, and that's in the shade. That's like temperature in the direct sunlight. On the road top of any road, as soon as it's like 110 or hotter, let it be there for a day or a little while. Take an egg, crack it, it'll drop, it'll fry the egg. That's how hot that street is. Pretty quickly.
You know, the first thing I'd be doing if it was that hot, I would clear out my refrigerator and go sit in my
Climb in.
Yep, and just close the door and
What-
watch it
Well,
all day.
here's kind of a silly about Arizona.
Sounds crazy, but
So I moved to Arizona in 1974, and Arizona was just like a total cowboy town. Phoenix had like 50,000 people total in the Phoenix, Tempe, Chandler, Gilbert, Glendale, Goodyear, Scottsdale, Paradise Valley. That was only like 50,000 people. It was small. There was one freeway that ran through the town, and it actually was the only place that I-10 did not continue through to the United States. You had to take side streets to get on I-10. So in downtown Phoenix, I-10 would go up to it, and you'd have to exit. And then you'd have to drive about 4 or 5 miles, and then you get back on I-10 to get on the other side of Phoenix to get out. But in 1974, when we moved into our house in Tempe, Arizona, the SRP was the stood for Salt River Project. That was the energy company in Arizona. And being that the growth in Arizona was growing pretty well in the mid 70s, early 80s, and 90s, Salt River Project could not afford to change the infrastructure of the electric grid. So they couldn't pump enough electricity to the houses to run their air conditioning. So in Arizona, we had something that would start at 9 o'clock in the morning and go till 6 o'clock at night, almost every day during the summer. It's called a brownout. A brownout was half the electricity came to your house. A Brownout allowed your refrigerator and maybe 1 or 2 fans in your house to run and nothing else. Your air conditioner wouldn't turn on. You couldn't use your dryer. You couldn't use your washing machine. TV didn't work. Nothing.
Leave the fridge open.
Well, the thing is, your fridge, being it's insulated, was nice, but your house would get up to maybe 105 degrees inside the house. So you don't want to leave your refrigerator open because your refrigerator can't crank enough. It can't release enough heat to cool off the region that you want to do. So that's why you have a bigger thing. So Salt River Project had a proposal that said, if you want to have an in-ground pool put in, they would cover $2,000, the first $2,000 of your pool to be put in. Well, yeah, dug in the ground swimming pool. So if you look at an aerial map of the older houses in Arizona, everybody had swimming pools because a swimming pool for a nice swimming pool would cost you that. That was a dug-in, 9-foot deep swimming pool, had about 60,000 gallons in it. So SRP said flat out, we'll pay for y'all to have a swimming pool, but you have to deal with us having brownouts and your house is hotter than you know what. So when we were little kids during the summer, it'd be like sitting there watching the cartoons or shows in the morning. I mean, there was 3 television stations in Arizona at the time. Cable didn't exist. Netflix wasn't even a thought. Internet didn't exist. So you'd be in your house, you'd be up, and you'd be watching, like Price is Right, first part of Price is Right. And all of a sudden the TV would start going real dim, and then turn off. And you're like, brown out. Guess what we all did? Well, the house is going to get hotter than you know what. So we would head to the swimming pools in our backyards. Every kid I knew had a swimming pool. Some had some that were better than others. My pool was really cool because the patio that was over our back porch was flat enough that you could get onto it, ride your bicycle off into the swimming pool. That was pretty sweet. Matt had a great pool, but when you had to take a running start, when you leaped, you actually jumped over the shallow end and you tried to land in the deep end. If you didn't make the deep end, your friend knew it because you were in a lot of pain. Eddie Forsey was like the only dude in the neighborhood who had a 2-story house. And so we used to get onto the 2nd floor. And I mean, this is when we were just little kids. I mean, we started swimming. So we'd be swimming with adults around when we were 5, 6, 7 years old. And like when we turned 8, we realized it's not fun if the parents are home when you go swimming. It's a lot more fun when you're little kids when no one's home because your parents are going to yell at you for jumping off the pool, off the roof, riding your bikes off the roof because that's dangerous. Jumping off the wall, in from your backyard into the pool, those were all dangerous. Jump off the top of the slide that some of our friends had, jumped off that into the pool. Like, go down the slide. That's what we have a slide for. No, it's more fun to jump. So we started swimming in pools unsupervised by parents when we were 8 years old. And sure, there were some people who got maimed. Chris Massey, a guy I grew up with, lived 3 houses down across the street. He went to jump off Matt's roof, so he cleared the shallow end, and his entire body made the deep end, and he caught his cheek on the side and ripped his whole cheek all the way back. So we're like 8 years old, going, when that quiet cry happens when you're a kid, something like that. That was Chris. He's bleeding like Chris. We're like, shh, don't say anything. Look, I'll eat dirt. Look, and you try and make people laugh because you don't want people crying around you when you're a kid. He had to go get plastic surgery then put his cheek back together. I mean, it was a full-on tear of his cheek all the way back.
Wait, how did he cut it?
He smacked his face on the side of the pool.
Oh, go.
Yeah, so he jumped off the roof and he's like in the air and he goes, BAM! And he's like, oh! And he turns and just blood on the side. Oh, yeah. You're seeing your friend named, you might as well laugh at him. But, so we could not tell our parents that Chris jumped off the roof into the pool and got hurt because, God forbid that any of us ever got hurt when our parents said, "Don't do that, someone's gonna get hurt." You don't want your parents to just act like they know what they're talking about, right? No, sure enough, we told him, we said he was reaching, we had pool whips that there was like 8 of them around the pool, and they just kind of pushed the dirt around so then the drain at the bottom of the pool would suck through the filtration system. We used to fill up water balloons in the pool with pool whips because you had the buoyancy in the pool and you could make these water balloons huge. We said that he was reaching for a water balloon and he slipped and hit his face. And our parents believed it until we were 21. When we were all 21, we told our parents this is what happened, and of course they're all looking at us going, "We knew you didn't just." Well, what do you know? Unfortunately, Chris Massey died when we were 23. He had a massive heart attack. He played football for University of Oklahoma. Yeah. So yeah, no, he played football for University of Oklahoma, and he was back during spring break, his junior year, and he was just playing a pickup game of basketball with some buddies of mine and he actually had a massive heart attack and died. And that was, that was hard because it was like, here's a guy I grew up with. Here we lived with the greatest Yale street. I grew up on Yale Drive, so we called it the greatest Yale Drive lie. But yeah, he passed away. I mean, they used to. For quite a few years, they actually had a big foundation golf tournament down in Arizona for him. But yeah, that was pretty rough.
R.I.P. Cruz. Yeah, the heart attack is one of the Polish fans.
Yeah. A guy named Ken Boldesan was giving him chest compressions till paramedics arrived, and I wasn't there that night. I was out doing whatever else. But man, that came down and it hit hard. It was just like boom. So I'll leave you guys on that note. So we have who has their book? Yeah. Is that it right there? Yeah, is that the test? Thank you. All right, so page 43, 44 is your practice test. That's your practice test. So complete that and any homework that I would have wanted you to have today. What was the page before?
Wait, wasn't that due today?
I didn't collect anything, did I?
No.
I thought
No,
so.
it's not due today.
I didn't collect. Did I assign anything?
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, maybe.
No, you didn't.
What do I assign?
I thought I did. No, we already turned that in.
Nobody turned anything into me today.
No.
No.
Well, now we
Alright.
just have to just back
So, I guess it was page 41/42. Make sure you have that. And then the practice test will be due tomorrow. We'll go over it. And then I will give you the take-home test. And then Friday is the in-class test in which you have a sub. Got it? We good? Everyone happy? Do that back to you. It's not time to leave yet. Don't stand by the door yet.
Yeah, I know.
I was like,